It's March 2025, and the three-year Russia-Ukraine slugfest is finally winding down. Trump's cozying up to Russia big time since taking office, leaving Europe and Ukraine in the dust. The internet's buzzing with memes clowning on Europe's fall from grace. People say their golden days are toast and they're about to be served up on a platter. The hot take online: Europe's been living cushy for decades thanks to three things: cheap Russian gas, bargain bin Chinese goods, while selling their fancy stuff back to China, and the US playing free bodyguard. The first two? Spot on. The third? Not quite. Sure, America's kept Europe safe, letting them skimp on defense. Most hover around 2% of GDP, freeing up cash for welfare. But now Trump's broke and done playing bouncer. He's pushing them to jack up military spending to 5%. Here's the twist. Europe's asterisk wanted asterisk to beef up its militaries forever. Having your own guns feels way better than relying on Uncle Sam. Post-World War II, though, America said, nah, we've got you, keeping everyone, especially Germany, on a short leash. Germany's industrial muscle and wartime rep made it the one to watch. The US didn't want a European beast rising up, so they used the Soviet Union as the big scary shadow to keep everyone in line. Then Russia invaded Ukraine. In June 2022, America loosened the reins, letting Germany pump up its defense budget. Germany didn't blink, amended its constitution faster than you can chug a beer, adding 100 billion euros a year. You should have seen their parliament, grinning like kids on Christmas. Their army was down to 180,000, a ragtag crew dubbed Europe's strawberry soldiers by the press. A far cry from the old iron-fisted Deutscher. After 70 years of playing weak, they were stoked to flex again. Why start with Europe's military? Because Trump's unraveling the whole damn world order America built after World War II. Don't cheer when it's convenient and then blame others when it's time to ditch the mess. This system's got two big pillars: the US dollar and control over Europe. Trump's swinging a wrecking ball at both. Pillar 1, the dollar. Post-war America was the industrial king. In 1950, global trade was $61 billion, and America's trade surplus was $2.3 billion. Tiny numbers, but 10 times West Germany's haul. By 1964, that surplus peaked at $7 billion. Then in '65, they started ditching factories, buying more than they sold. By 1970, the surplus shrank to $2.6 billion. 1971 brought a $1.3 billion deficit. Fast forward, 2022's deficit hit $948 billion. 2023 was $773 billion. 2024 clocked in at $918 billion. For most countries, bleeding trade deficits kill industry, jobs, and cash reserves. Not America. They had the dollar, the world's piggy bank. Everyone needed bucks to trade, so America printed money, bought stuff, and lived large. They pivoted to services: football, Broadway, Hollywood, weed, corn syrup, partying while the globe footed the bill. It worked for decades, but cracks are showing. Inside, the system fattened up the coasts, leaving the Midwest and Rust Belt to rot. Those rednecks got pissed, outnumbered the elites, and sent Trump to the White House to speak for them. Outside, the dollar's magic's fading. 6 rate hike cycles from '83 to 2015 crushed rivals. But 2022's hike and 2024's cut flopped. Why? China's in the game. In 2023, China's trade surplus was $593 billion. 2024 hit $767 billion. They're using that cash to balance the world, countering US moves and keeping markets steady. Pillar 2, controlling Europe. Europe was the industrial champ before America. Britain kicked off the revolution. France and Germany perfected it. 2 world wars sent their wealth and brains fleeing to the US, birthing America's post-war boom. Before that, America's plan was to keep Europe chaotic, funding Germany's revenge, propping up Stalin's Soviet growth, anything to stop a united front. Post-war, they feared Europe rising again. Eurasia's got the resources and people to outshine America any day. So they painted the Soviets as Europe's boogeyman, parked 300 bases and 10,000 troops there, and kept everyone dependent. Russia's still scratching its head. Soviet Union's gone. Putin's kissed America's ring, yet NATO keeps creeping closer. Why? America needs a villain to stay Europe's boss. It's not about Russia. It's about controlling Europe. Europe and Russia actually fit together like puzzle pieces. Europe needs cheap energy. Russia needs tech and cash. No real beef exists between their leaders. They've wanted to team up for years. If Germany, France, and Russia link up, you've got a monster economic bloc America can't stomach. Remember the NSA spying on Merkel? She and Putin got too chummy. Both ex-East Germany vets fluent in each other's languages. America freaked. What's next? Trump's bailing on the Russia's the enemy playbook. Biden used the Ukraine war to tie Europe down, but it jacked up global inflation, screwing America's working stiffs. Trump's flipped it, wants the war done and Russia back in the fold. Russia's terms? Ukraine surrenders, hands over 5 regions, ditches NATO, and denazifies. Biden fought tooth and nail. Trump's basically nodding yes. He's even nixing invasion talk at the UN, pushing Russia back into G8 and SWIFT, and pulling troops from newer NATO states. More concessions are coming when he meets Putin. This ain't just peace. It's America's retreat. The dollar's still got some juice thanks to a quiet US-China truce, but Europe's slipping away. Russia and Europe, especially Germany and France, will likely buddy up, maybe even fix Nord Stream 2. A new power block's brewing. Could America and Russia tag team China instead? Nah, Russia's beat from Ukraine. They need to rebuild, not brawl. Europe's a better bet, closer, cheaper, easier. China's too big a fish, and Siberia's a logistical nightmare for Russia-China deals. Don't sweat it. Russia's not ditching us, just playing smart. America's not stopping China either. 8 years, 2 presidents, every trick in the book. Huawei's still kicking, chips keep flowing. The old guard's stumped. China's pumping out robots and jets like it's nothing. No plan, no dice. Vice President Vance can talk tough, but he's got squat to back it up. The real deal. Empires don't just fall from outside punches, they rot inside. Germany chased colonies, the Soviets froze up, America screwed its own heartland with inequality. Trump's not the spark, he's the flare-up. The US built a global machine but forgot its own people. Now it's crumbling, and the world's moving on.